What's up, everybody? It's Buffalo Ben 15 Golf back at it again. And today we return for the final installment of the Spring Break Southeastern Spring Swing Series 2025 edition, spanning over Gulfport, Mississippi, Slidell, Louisiana, and Birmingham, Alabama this year at Highland Park for the back nine, needing a 36 or better to achieve the overall under 80, 319 or less goal for this spring break. Last year at Sugarwood in Lavallette, West Virginia, although the under 80 goal that year was dead and gone heading into that round, I did shoot a 74 on the final day. So if tradition holds true, I will just barely get this, and it's off to a pretty decent start here on hole 10. My 4-iron was a little bit toey, but it was straight, and all I needed to do was get it in the fairway, and it would roll down pretty far with how downhole this hole is. So my 9-iron was okay, a little bit above my feet. I thought it would draw a little bit on me, and I couldn't miss it left because the water is kind of a diagonal carry on this 10th hole. The further left you go, the longer your carry has to be in order to clear the water. And I kind of bailed out a little bit right, and the first putt was not nearly hard enough. But the second putt, much different story. Nice to see that fall early. So we stay at +2 for the day, heading into the longest par 3 of the round. I mean, I think technically hole 5 is a yard longer. I think this is 195 and hole 5 is 196, but that one I used a 7-iron because it was way downhill. This one I'm using a 5-iron here, and this needs to just be a well-placed shot, no buts about it. And I was pretty close. It was just a little bit to the right. It was a little bit long, just barely went over the green. Must have missed pitching on the bent grass green where it definitely would have held by maybe a foot. So instead of being on the green for birdie, we have got ourselves a very difficult floppy pitch here off some dormant Bermuda. The one advantage I did have is the grain was not into me here. Especially with matted down Bermuda, you never know what you're going to get when it comes to the grain, and sometimes it can be the difference between just an impossible shot where bogey's your best case scenario to being a recoverable situation. And thankfully, I drew the latter of the two scenarios here. So here's the par putt. Oh, man. Very, very close. My goodness, that was less than an inch away from getting slurped up by the lip of the hole. I mean, that's one of those putts where it hits any part of the lip and it goes in. Just judge the pace absolutely perfectly on that. But not to be here for the par save this time. So that drops us to +3. And this hole is not exactly a breather following a very ill-timed bogey. Granted, on a very difficult hole, but still, you got to figure out how to come through when you need it most. And right there on that par 3, I did not. So this is a very tight par 5, OB all the way down the right, or excuse me, the left. The right as the camera looks at it. Again, me getting mixed up on that too. That's why I never try to give you guys front camera angle shots if I can.
That was a dangerous one.
But in that case, the tees were all the way back on the tee box there, so I didn't really have a whole lot of room there. So pretty good tee shot. Didn't get scared and block it right, which is something I often do when there's OB on the side of a hole. Got to learn how to avoid that. And that was a good example of how to. I tell you what, out of every shot that I hit today, just on the drive back up to Michigan, just watching all of the shots that I hit across spring break, I have to say that tee shot on 12 was probably one that I watched, I mean, in my top 5 of the ones I watched the most, just because I was really proud of the way I handled it, coming off of a bogey and just, you know, maybe even though I couldn't make it there in 2, I mean, my dad was telling me, why are you hitting driver and you're not going to make it to a 540 par 5 in 2 shots? And honestly, Dad's probably right. But you know what? In the situation that I had, I knew I had some short par 4s coming up, as you guys will see. Maybe I'll be able to get a birdie on one of those if this hole goes awry. And as you can see here, fairway in regulation, green in regulation, I'd say this hole's been played pretty well. That was a beautiful little swing that I put on that 75-yard wedge. Can't say the same for the putt, though. That was right in the mouth. That was right in the jaws right there, and comes up short by a couple feet. But a tap-in par, nonetheless, is a very, very solid score on a hole like this, the longest on the course.
I really wanted on this course, and I got it.
And as you see here, just some pretty encouraging words coming from me, just thinking to myself, okay, I'm past 11 and 12, which is easily the toughest 2 holes on the back 9, at least for me. So heading into a par 3 here, only 103 yards. This is not a hard hole at all. The only thing you really can't do here is miss left. And I'm hitting a gap wedge here. I felt like sand wedge. I didn't want to swing too hard at it.
This is right of the hole. Oh, no. This is dangerous. Okay. No, it's good now, Roger. It's within 4 or 5 feet of the hole. People are going crazy.
That is the definition of clutch right there, guys. This is still a slippery putt, though. I mean, Highland Park, even though it's only a 67.6 rating, 124 slope course, it's not going to come easy. This is a tough little putt.
Clutch.
Not when you do that,
really
though.
Clutch. Great up and down.
Not when you do that, though. Beautiful stroke. Avoided the temptation on those left to right putts to just have the toe be up off the ground. Again, just can't get away with that, especially on a mallet putter, and that's something I worked on so much a couple years ago, and it stuck so well just because I've practiced it as much as I have. Colin Hampton. Again, I'm going to give this guy a shout-out. You know who you are if you're watching. Life-changing putting tip. I mean, really. I mean, putting back in 2021 and 2022, in the earlier days of this channel, was not a strength of mine. And now, you can always count on me to make that 8-footer when you need it, you know?
That's probably pretty good.
Which is something I definitely pride myself in being able to do. You can't exactly count on me to hit a crazy carving 8-iron half chip punch Phil Mickelson shot. Yeah, I mean, it's you know it's a hard shot when it's hard to describe. And that's exactly what the case was with that one there. Just flared my forehand a little bit too much out to the right on this par 4. And this is one of the par 4s I was thinking I could be able to get a birdie on today. And I just didn't. You know, I just ended up in a pretty awful spot behind the green. Couldn't really do much out of the semi-dormant fescue just to just chop it out and try to at least get it on the green, which I do. And the bright side of this whole scenario, even though it's a 25-foot putt for par, this is uphill right to left, but not that right to left. Just not a good bogey there. Just, but you know what? I knew the nerves were going to be high. And again, talking about that tee shot on 12, it was, I mean, it looked like a dumb decision in the moment. Well, first of all, it's only dumb if it doesn't work, A. And B, I knew for a fact that the nerves were going to get higher and higher and higher as I got closer and closer and closer to the finish, because I was just having a very, very solid round of golf. And I knew for a fact I had to come up with a big play when I needed it. And I knew that par on 12, I mean, even though I definitely could have gotten a par by just hitting maybe a 4-iron or a 5-wood off the tee, I mean, it gave me a chance to hit a wedge into the green instead of an iron. And with where that pin was super tucked there, I mean, you talk about it. I mean, that's like the opposite of a false front. That's like instead of it sloping down before the green, it slopes like up before the green. And like you don't even have to get it there to have it roll on. So that was a tough little pin position I had to deal with on 12 there. As you see right behind me is where it is again. But not able to get a birdie here on this par 4, even though it was drivable off the tee. I hit a pretty good drive. Just leaked a little bit right into that green side bunker. You know, but I mean, even on, I mean, I granted, this is a 5,800 yard course. This is not a long golf course. But the thing is, when else have you seen me be able to nearly drive par 4s on this channel? It hasn't been until now. And you know what else hasn't been until now? Breaking 80 on average on a spring break trip. And that was easily the best, most controlled, most deliberate, yet calculated, just a solid 90% swing all around there on that tee ball. And off to the 8-iron approach here. Oh, look at that Chad Ramey half side-eye look up. You always know that's a good sign, and there we go. On the green for birdie, right to left. Picked about the only spot on the green where this would be a right to left putt, as everything slopes toward the road out of bounds over on the left side of the camera. I mean, beyond it. Put myself in about the best position I could. But again, nerves are high right now.
It was nasty. Malnati's putt on the way. A little left coming back.
And that is the one thing I couldn't do, was ram it past and give myself a left to right comebacker. I put Dad's putt in here. This was for his par. And boy, did his turn a lot. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a big one. You know, so just standing over it, trying to go through my routine as best I can, not trying to forget anything in the heat of the moment. Stepping up over it. Eyes look good. Putter looks nice and flat on the ground.
Oh, my goodness.
Miss on the rookie side. So that takes us to +4. 2 holes to go. One of the coolest views on any golf course I've ever played. And the stakes could never be higher along with it. Pretty short par 3, only about 115 yards to the pin. A lot of trouble right, cannot flare this right. It'll go into the brush. Bunker short, bunker left. Again, just a nice controlled swing.
Up to, depends how short it is. You can't really tell. Great shot. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
My ball's just got a magnet for these par 3 greens right now, guys. I mean, that was such a pivotal shot. That meant the whole trip. I had the whole trip in my hands on that tee, and I didn't let it down. 3 out of 5 greens in regulation on par 3s today, even through the 4 that I've played. Need to go even in the last 2 holes. We're trying to go for this.
With a spin around on a back and he scores! Oh, get ready for the highlight reel. Nathan Derby, second of the night. Top shelf from behind the cookies, and it's tied at 3.
2 twos today.
This time, it's all mine. It's all mine. Only a bogey needed now on this 18th hole. 351-yard par 4, dog-legging left slightly. Lot of room right. This shouldn't be an issue.
Try to hit a low cut. This is pulled just slightly.
And just guarded against going wide of the green. And
Nestles down.
That is not going to be fun.
With 88 yards remaining to the hole, OB long, a bunker right, and a false front short, I had a tough decision to make. I could either chip out onto the fairway and just hit a flip wedge off a good lie and probably still get the 2-putt, or just say screw it and go for the green. I did not want to hit a partial wedge with these nerves. I'm going
just
for
a
this.
Rose de Lynn. Almost had a better lie than it first looked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a great recovery from Rose. What a wonderful shot.
Too bad they couldn't see it. I couldn't put the camera there. It was too far up.
No, you'd never see the shot.
When your back is against the wall, when you need one of the top 10 rounds of your life to meet your goal, you really only have one option. That is to be aggressive. That is to go for broke. That is to try things you've never tried before and be okay with whatever happens. And today, what happened was victory. What happened was the culmination of all that I worked for.
Once and for all for Sergio.
And there it is, a 73, the all-time low spring break round on the final day. Just like last year, we saved the best and by far the best for last. 13 out of 18 greens. The irons. The distance control, picking spots off the tee to give myself the most advantageous positions, and 2 twos on the card have led to a mission accomplished. A 4.9 differential, right on the money for my handicap. In this trip, even though they were courses I had never seen, my handicap went from a 4.7 to a 4.5. I think it's safe to say the start of this year is absolutely incredible. Dad, thanks for coming along with the ride. You were one of the few people that believed in me. I honestly didn't think this would ever happen, but it did. This video was released today for a reason. 5 years ago, if you guys remember, at Farmington Hills Golf Club, that was the 5 years ago that I broke 80 for the first time. The 5-year anniversary. And we've come full circle. We have officially taken breaking 80 beyond the borders of Michigan. I think it's safe to say that this 2025 will be the best year of golf I've had in my life yet. Stay tuned, guys. Ryder Cup highlights coming. Siren Memorial Invitational at Pontiac Country Club tournament highlights coming. College matches. Course vlogs at amazing courses that you've never seen before. I will be here with you for the ride. This is Buffalo Ben 15 signing off. Have a good day, everyone.